What's up guys, Decren here with part 2 of my tutorial. Now I'm going to jump right into it because it's going to be a long tutorial, but it might go into a third part, depends on how long it is. So basically where we left off is we designed a simple website in Photoshop that looks something like this. Now we're going to code it. I don't know if we get through it all in this video, maybe get up to the halfway point, I'm not sure. So before you want to start, you want to make a new folder. This is what I usually do before I make my websites, and I'm just going to call it tutorial for now, but you can call it whatever you want your website really to be. I'm going to open the folder I made for this other site real quick. And so you want to make a new folder called images, and basically you want to have all your images in it like how I have them here. So I'm going to put these in there, or I'll just copy them. Oops. So like that, and then we're not gonna work with the slider images yet, but you can have the tutorial PSD in there if you want, but I'm just gonna keep it at that right now. So I'm gonna keep that open. Now you want to open Dreamweaver. Sorry about that. And you want to go to File, New, and go to HTML at the top and just click None, and make sure the doc type is at 8xhtml 1.0 strict, and click Create. Alright, so let's start this off by giving the background color move on, what's that? Let me just go check open a picture of it real quick. Alright, so the background color is, hurry the fuck up. Alright, it's taking forever, but I'm just gonna go. So you want to go in the head section right here. Just under where it says, actually where it says title and untitled document, you want to name it whatever you want, like name of your website. So I'm gonna name that Dylan. I'll just give it my name, and then you want to press enter to that. Stay in the head tag and type in just type what I'm typing, I guess. I don't really know how to explain it. Just type in style type equals, oh no wait, sorry, that's the wrong part. That's the style sheet, but we're not going to put the style sheet in yet, so actually, you know what, yeah, we will. So style type equals text slash CSS, and then close it, and then you want to type in body, and then swirly bracket, or whatever they're called. And I'm going to give the background a color of, let's see, just do that. And you want to close it with another swirly bracket, and then close the style. Alright, and then you want to go into your body tag, and this is where the code all starts happening. So I'm gonna, before we do that, I'm gonna make a CSS style sheet page. So you want to go File, New, and you want, instead of going to HTML, you want to go to CSS and just hit Create. Now what you want to do is you want to click File, Save As, and you can save it in the folder you just made. So I'm going to call it main, and just save, and then you can close it. And what you want to do is you want to go back to your index that you just made, and you want to click where it says this little box on the side here should say CSS styles at the top, and there's this little page with a plus sign on it, and it says new CSS. Really want to click that and open this box. Hold on, I think this is it. Choose what the fuck. Hold on, I can't find it. One sec. Alright, sorry, never mind, I found it. It's instead of the plus sign, the new CSS rule, actually go to the one to the left, and it should say attach style sheet. It's kind of like a little chain. You want to click that. You want to click browse, and you want to click the CSS you just made, which I named my main. So you click open, and then just click OK on that, and then click OK. Now you see what it does is it adds the main page, so now it's actually a part of this, so you can put a style in here and it will show up on here. So we're gonna go make a style real quick. The first style I'm gonna call is a wrapper, so you wanna put the little dash sign, or hashtag sign, sorry, and I'm gonna call it wrapper, and you wanna open it with this curly bracket, press enter, and then just copy what I'm doing, just copy me down. I'm gonna make the width 972 pixels. Make sure you have pixels at like px at the end, or else it's not gonna work. And then also put a height. I'm gonna put a height of 550 pixels. And I'm gonna do a margin left auto, and what this does is basically it centers the thing. Oops. Make sure. Oh yeah, you've got to close everything you do with a semicolon, or else it'll stay open and it will just mess up the code. I'm gonna do a margin right, auto, semicolon, and then you can close that. Then I'm gonna make another style, and I'm gonna call it container. Oops. Yeah, and then open swirly bracket, and then I'm gonna put the width in as 972 again, pixels, height, I'll put height in as 800 pixels, and then do margin left auto again, and then margin right. And then we're gonna actually add a background color to this, background dash color, and then hashtag, and then just put in the color you want. I'm gonna use a gray kind of color, semicolon to close it off, and then I'm gonna add a float left. And what this does is it makes like, it's hard to explain. I'll have a website in the description that explains everything better, called W3 Schools. You guys might have heard of that or not, but I don't know. So then you can close it once you press enter, and then we gotta go back to our source code and go to your body and type in div id equals semicolon, or not semicolon, whatever they call it, I forget. And you want to type in wrapper, and then don't close the wrapper yet, but then you want to press enter, and then you want to write the same thing, div id equals, but this time we're going to put in the container. And actually I'm going to press enter in between, actually go above the container and in between the wrapper, and I'm gonna go back to my main CSS and create a banner real quick. So the banner, you should already have the banner image. Yeah, I do. So you want to go to background dash image, and then just hit browse. This window should pop up. Go to your images and hit the banner you want. I'm gonna do this one because it's the banner I made, and it will like link it to the banner. So like, it has to be in the specific folder. See how it says images? That's my images folder right here. And then the dash or slash, sorry, indicates that it's inside here, and it's called the banner. So yeah. And then you want to go to background, repeat, and then I'm gonna do no repeat, and what this does is it makes the background not repeat itself, because if I didn't have it on there, the background would repeat itself over and over again, and it looks really stupid. I'm gonna add a width to that to 508 pixels, and the width, you should use the width of the banner that you actually have. So I have this stuff written down so I know what the width is, but you should check yours out just in case. No, I gotta write a height. After that I'm gonna write a margin, sorry, left, and I'm gonna put 250 pixels this time. Margin right, oh sorry, not right, bottom, and I'm gonna put 15 pixels, semicolon, and then I'm gonna float it left again, and then I'll close it. And then you want to go back to your source code and basically do the div id equals and put your banner in there. And then right after you close the banner, you want to hit the greater than sign, I think, or it's either less than or greater sign, and then hit slash, and it should automatically close the div for you. So we go to our design view. It should look something like this, but if you come up to here, click this little earth button, you can go and preview it in Internet Explorer or in Chrome, or if you have like Firefox or anything, you can click that, but I'm going to do it in Chrome. So I'm going to open, you want to save changes first, and I'm going to call it index. That's what it's easy for me to call it that every time, so save it, yes. And it should open up, and it should look something like that, but for some reason the margin looks pretty stupid, so this should be center. So I'm gonna go back to my code real quick, and margin left. That should, you know, I put an E instead of an A, so you gotta watch, if your spelling is wrong, the whole code is gonna mess up. See how it just changed like that? So now if you go look at it, it's centered, so that looks pretty nice. Got the banner so far. Picture still isn't low, whatever. So now we're gonna go in the next part, and we're gonna create the slideshow area. Or no, we're gonna create the nav bar actually, sorry. So what you wanna do is, hold on, let me just minimize this. Let's go back to your code, and I'm gonna actually go back to my main CSS, which is this, and I'm gonna create a CSS style and call it bar, and this is gonna be the navigation bar. So yeah, we're gonna make the width the same width as everything else we did so far, and then height we'll do 30. Oops. And let's do background color black. Background color, not being racist, don't worry. Hashtag 000. Just make it. And then I'm gonna add a margin bottom, so it gives it a little bit of space between everything else. I'm gonna put that to 10 pixels maybe, and then add a float left. Make sure you spell it right, because I have terrible spelling. And make sure you close them, and then close the div. And then I'm gonna go to your code. Oops. Your source code. And right after container, you wanna create the div id equals, and you wanna put bar there. And don't close it yet. I'm gonna actually enter. Now we're gonna make the navigation CSS part. So go back to here, and I'm actually gonna call this nav. And all I'm really gonna do is I'm just gonna add a margin left, and I put that at 0 pixels. Yeah, that should be good. Actually, right before I do that, yeah, before I do that, I'm actually gonna make it so instead of doing that, you wanna right here, oops, crap. You wanna put UL and then enter, open curly bracket, and then enter again, and then you wanna put list style type, and then put that to none, and then I'm gonna put margin 0, and then padding 0, and then I'm gonna put an overflow hidden, and you want to close it with the swirly brace, and then you want to press enter again and hit LI, and then enter again, and then open swirly bracket, and then enter, and then hit float left, and make sure you close that with the semicolon, and then push enter, close that with the swirly bracket, and then type in A : link, and then comma A : visited. And then enter, open swirly bracket, and then type in display I'm gonna put block. I'll put a width of 90 pixels, I guess. And font family. For the font family, I'm gonna have. You can actually add your own fonts, but I don't really have time for that right now. I'm gonna do that in another tutorial. So I'm gonna actually have Arial and Helvetica, or whatever, and sans serif. And then I'm gonna put a font weight, which is I'm gonna make it bold, actually, just bold. And then let me just switch sheets real quick. And I'm gonna add a padding real quick and put that at 5 pixels, and then a color, a good color for the. This is for the text right now, so I'm gonna put a color for the. Make the color white, I guess. Semicolon. And then text, align. That's pretty self-explanatory. That's where the text is going to align to. I'm going to align it to the center. And then text, declaration, none. And then close it with that. Then you want to close it with a curly bracket. Press enter, and then you hit A colon hover. And then comma A colon active. And what that means is basically when you hover over it, it's gonna like, you can give it a style when you hover over it, like flash or something, or add a color to it. I'll show you what I mean when I finish this. And then you want to push enter, and then you want to color. I'll put a color of a nice blue, maybe 407. Yeah, like that. And then you want to put a text. Declaration colon underline semicolon, and then close that off. And this is where we make the nav part, so you want to go hashtag nav open curly bracket or brace. I call them curly braces, that's what my teacher always said, so I don't know what that actually called, but I think that's it, I don't know. And so then for that I'm going to just put margin left at 0 pixels, and then close it. Now we want to go back to our source code top here, and you're gonna want to go div id equals, oops, what the hell? Oh, 1 sec, I think I changed my angle. Yeah. Alright, div id equals, I'm gonna go nav, and then you're gonna go to, you want to put in the greater than or less than symbol, I forget what it's called, and put UL, and then close it, and then press enter again. And what I like to do is I like to tab it and give it a nice, like, I like to have my code organized. But then you want to put li, and then basically what you put in the li is you're gonna put a8 space href, and then equals, and we're just gonna put a hashtag there for now. What that basically does, it's like a fake page, so when you click the link, nothing will happen, it'll just stay on the same page. And then you want to close that, and then you type in the word you want. For instance, I'm gonna type home, and then you want to close the ahref, and then you want to close the li, and then basically do that for all the navigations you want. So I'm gonna do one for actually I'm gonna copy and paste it real quick. I'm gonna do that for my gallery and all of them, so just copy and paste it, and what I have to do is change the word. I'm gonna change that to gallery. Oops. I'm gonna copy and paste it again. I'm gonna do that. Contact store and little teams. Okay. Then you want to go to enter, and you want to close the UL and align the UL up so it doesn't look like poo. I think that's, oops. Alright. And then this is where you close all the divs. Well, not all of them, but. So then we can go to design, and we have our navigation bar. Now, you want to go and preview in the Internet Explorer what I usually do to make sure it works, and just save it real quick. far? We're 19 minutes, 20 minutes. Wow, this is long. So basically, there we have it. See, if you scroll over, it gives you that the blue underline, and when you click it, it won't take you anywhere. So yeah. So then I'm just gonna we're gonna add. Let's add the little what you call it, the slideshow. So first, what you want to do is you want to come here to this website. It's dev7studios.com/nivels-slider/, and the link will be in the description. And you want to click download, and it should download this RAR file. And then I already extracted it, so you should have a folder called Nibble Slider on your desktop, and you want to open it. Now you're going to want to go to your folder that you made earlier, and basically you want to, well, let me just see what I did here real quick. You want to open the Nibble Slider, and you're going to want to drag the jquery.nivo.slider.pack into the folder you made there, and then you're going to want to slide a nivo-slider in there, and I think that's it. And then you're going to want to just close the folder, and then just drag the whole folder in here to keep it neat and tidy. And then what I like to do is then next you create a folder, and you call the folder slider, and this folder is where you'll be putting all your images for your slideshow that you would like to go in there. So what I did was I took out 3 images right here and I'll just copy and paste them in here. You should have your own images though, and all the images should be the exact same height and width. So for the width, I had 972 like I had for my website, and the height was 247, and that should be like that for all of them. So yeah, once they're in there, you're going to go back to your code, and I'm gonna I'll give you this little notepad as well, and you gotta copy the first 3 lines of code in there, copy it, and go to your source code, and basically in the header, right underneath where you had your style sheet, I'm gonna paste those 3 lines of code right there, and then it should 3 of the other things, tabs should open up kind of, but you don't really need to mess with them right now, so we'll do that later. And then you're gonna come here and copy all of this, just Control C, Control V. But what I'm gonna do real quick is I'm just gonna put a P for paragraph, that's what it stands for, and I'll put an ID equals title, and call it slideshow, and the P, and a tab, or enter, and then I paste the code under that, and where it says image src equals, that's where you put like your slider slider, like the folder name, and then slash, and the name of the image, so 1.png, and then you want to put alt after it, and change the alt to like whatever you want. I called it Mars because the first picture says Mars in it, and then title, which it'll give a title on the slider, that's what the title will be on the slider. And you'll notice it won't show up in here, but that's okay. But first of all, before we do that, I'm gonna go to my main CSS, and I'm actually gonna, hold on one sec, I'm gonna add a, oh, that's probably why it looks so stupid. I'm gonna add a title real quick. So I gotta find where I put the title again. Oh, there it is. Okay. So I'm gonna go under nav real quick and just put hashtag title, and then open square bracket, and then I'm gonna text align and make it center, enter, and then I'll give it the color. It's a good color. I'll just do black, I guess, and then close it. And so then basically we just want to go to this preview in Chrome, Save, yes. And there should be, oh crap, I got this little thing right here. It shouldn't be there, but that's weird. Hold on, your images should be showing up. I'm gonna check real quick. I'm just gonna get rid of this. Hold on. This is really annoying. Holy crap. There we go. Alright. Sorry about that. And then I gotta find out why the images aren't working. So make sure your images are named the exact same. So this is called slider. That's slider. I think it's called slider. Yeah. You know, I'm just gonna copy this folder and paste it in there to make things easier. So I'm gonna delete that one real quick and just drag this one in here. See if that works. I don't know if it's gonna, but hopefully it will. And just preview in Chrome, save. Don't know why the images aren't showing up. 1 second. Alright, sorry about that. I had a bit of trouble getting the images to work, but I found the problem. I just found the error, but so you want to preview it in Chrome. And basically this is what it should look like now. You can click the things but nothing will happen, and Slideshow, it should show the pictures you have, and it will show a title right here. It looks really nice, and it's lined up and everything, so I thought that looked really cool. But yours, you might have a thing that says like next or preview or anything like that, but I'm gonna end the video here, so in the next tutorial I'll teach you how to get rid of that, and I'll teach you how to do the rest of the stuff down here, because this tutorial is getting pretty long. So I'll upload part 3 as soon as this video gets maybe 15 or 20 likes or whenever. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like it really means a lot, helps me out. Yeah, I'll try and finish the tutorial on the next part. Sorry for being so long, I didn't think it'd be this long, but yeah. So guys, hope you enjoy this. I'll see you later.